Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the modern neuroscience of fear and trauma, and more importantly, how you can actually use that science to rewire your own brain. We'll cover the biology, sure, but we're really going to give you the practical tools to take control. So, let's just start with a big question, right? What if the key to overcoming fear wasn't about trying to erase it, but about a different process entirely? A process your brain is already designed to do.
Okay, to really get a handle on fear, we first have to distinguish it from a couple of its close relatives, stress and anxiety. And trust me, getting these definitions straight is the key to everything that follows.
First up, we've got stress. Just think of this as your body's general alert system kicking into gear. It's a key ingredient in fear, no doubt, but you can absolutely feel stressed, from a deadline at work or something, without actually being afraid.
Then there's anxiety. This is typically stress that's focused on what might happen in the future. And again, it's a crucial piece of the fear puzzle, but it's not the whole picture. You can have anxiety about a presentation next week without feeling true, immediate fear.
So here's where it all clicks together. Fear isn't some totally separate thing. It's the complex emotion that's literally built on top of those feelings of stress and anxiety. The big difference, fear is tied to a specific, immediate threat or a powerful memory.
So, how does the brain actually produce this feeling of fear? To understand that, we need to meet the key players in your brain's fear circuit. It's a really elegant and powerful system when you see how it works.
It all starts with this three-part chain reaction called the HPA axis. The best way to think of it is as your body's emergency broadcast system. Your brain's command center, the hypothalamus, detects a threat. It sends a signal to the pituitary gland, which then tells the adrenal glands to flood your system with adrenaline and cortisol, getting you ready for action. Now, sitting at the absolute heart of the fear circuit is the amygdala. This little part of your brain is like a hyper-vigilant threat detector. It's the final common pathway that the whole threat reflex flows through. It is absolutely essential. And this is where the balance comes in. You've got the prefrontal cortex, which acts like the mission commander. It provides what neuroscientists call top-down control. This is the part of your brain that takes that raw, reflexive feeling of fear and attaches a story to it, gives it meaning, and helps decide what to do next.
Now, here's a critical point. Fear isn't always something we're born with. It's often learned. Your brain's fear system is basically a memory system, and it's designed to create really powerful associations from experiences to keep you safe. And what's wild is, sometimes it only takes a single event.
This is a perfect example of what scientists call one-trial learning. A single negative event, something that takes just a few moments, can become so deeply embedded that it completely changes your perception of an entire place, maybe forever.
Which, of course, brings us to the most important question of all. If our brains are so good at learning fear, sometimes in just one shot, how in the world can we possibly unlearn?
And right here, this is the single most important concept we're going to talk about. It's a massive shift in thinking from modern neuroscience that unlocks pretty much everything else.
So here it is. You don't erase a fear memory. The brain just doesn't work that way. Instead, you have to create a new, more powerful, positive memory and attach it to that old trigger. You replace the old association with a new one.
So once you really get that core principle, replace, don't erase, it opens up a whole toolkit for actively rewiring your brain. So let's take a look at the science-backed ways you can put this exact idea into practice. Behavioral therapies work on this exact two-step process. First, you diminish the power of the old experience. By retelling the story over and over again, you actually lower its emotional charge, its physiological punch. Then you actively work to create and attach a new, non-traumatic story to that old memory. And now, emerging therapies are using pharmacology to basically supercharge this whole process. Ketamine, for instance, can create a kind of dissociation, which lets you talk about the trauma without the intense emotion. And MDMA, well, that creates a unique brain state with high dopamine and serotonin, making the brain incredibly receptive to forming new, positive connections. There are also some really powerful tools you can use yourself to recalibrate your system. Breathing techniques like cyclic hyperventilation can actually make you more resilient to stress over time by teaching you to turn stress on and off on purpose. And, of course, the basics. Good sleep, nutrition, social connection, that stuff is absolutely non-negotiable. And for those who are interested in supplementation, clinical studies have shown that a dose of saffron can reliably help reduce general anxiety, and that specific dose is 30 milligrams. It just helps to lower your baseline level of arousal.
But, and this is a pro tip, it's a really important one,
The whole point of these supplements is to lower your baseline anxiety. You would not want to use them right before a therapy session where the entire goal is to actually access and process those feelings to weaken their power. So the big takeaway today, really, is this profound shift in perspective. Fear isn't some permanent stain on your brain that you have to scrub away. It's just an old story, and it's a story that's waiting for a new ending to be written. Because that's what it's all about, replacing, not erasing. By understanding the biology of your own nervous system, you gain the power to consciously write a new story. So the final question is pretty simple. What old story are you ready to replace?